Hi everyone, it's Mr. Dougal back again with another video for you. This time to help you with your maths work for today, which will be Friday. I'm recording this on Thursday. So we've looked at equal groups all week. We've looked at recognising them. We've looked at making them ourselves. We've then looked at how we can find the total number of objects or items by doing what we call repeated addition, so adding the same number over and over again. So for example, 5, add 5, add 5, add 5, or 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, or 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. Okay. Now, the next step for looking at our equal groups is to use the multiplication symbol. Okay, now you might remember on Monday, the one day we were in, I did touch on that, how we've been moving on to this, and how it was one of our 4 operations. So we've done adding before, we've done taking away. Now the next step is using that multiplication symbol, which just looks like a cross like that, dead simple. Okay, and that helps us find the total number of objects when they are grouped into equal groups like this. Okay, so hopefully I'll try and explain nice and clearly, and hopefully get a good understanding. Now I know some people will have seen the multiplication symbol before, and they might recognize it as being the times sign. So I'll just go back there so you can see it here, the times sign, because we can have 3 times 2, 4 times 5, 6 times 10, and that's great, that's fantastic, that's a really good starting block for your knowledge. But there are of course some people who might not have ever seen the times sign before in the maths, okay, and they won't know what that means as much. Okay, so bear with me, particularly if you've got brothers and sisters who do their times tables and things, and you might have seen it before. But I'm going to just try and go baby steps and try and explain it nice and clearly for everybody else. Okay, so I'm going to leave that time sign there. Right, so looking at the objects we have down here, can think about very quickly now how many groups we have. This is kind of recapping what we've done. So how many groups do we have? So let's look at it. You've had a couple of seconds there. So we've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. So we've got 4 groups. Is that a tricky word? Groups looks a bit like groups, but we know this O and U can make a new sound. 4 groups of, and then we see how many objects are in each group. I've made sure they're equal already. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars there. And to me, like some of you will be able to, I can see that they're all equal anyway, but we'll check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, so we've got 5 in each group. We've got 4 groups of 5. 4 groups of 5. I'll just make that ever so slightly bigger. Clearer. There we go. 4 groups of 5. And another way of saying this, using those 2 values, is to say that we've got 4 5s. We've got a 5 there, we've got a 5 there, we've got a 5 there, we've got a 5 there. We've got 1 5, 2 5s, 3 5s, 4 5s. Okay, and you've got to got used to looking at it like that in Thursday's task. Okay, when you were asked to write it down in that format as well, so 4 5s or 3 2s, 6 10s, all these kind of things. Okay, so we've got 4 groups of 5. We can say that is 4 5s. Okay, we can also look at it as our repeated addition, like we did, like you would have done yesterday. I'm getting very confused when I'm talking about days here because I'm recording this the day before. So yes, on Thursday, you will have looked at repeated addition. So we can think of that as 5, add 5, add 5, add 5. Okay, so you've got 5, add another 5, add another 5, add another 5. 5, add 5, add 5, add 5. And we discussed on Monday how we don't have to kind of count on one by one for each of these stars. Okay, we don't have to go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You could do, but it's not the most efficient way. And when we say efficient way, I know we've used that word before, it's linked to almost like the quickest way, really. Okay, the best maths way of doing it. Okay, that will take you a long time, particularly when we start using some slightly larger numbers, perhaps if you had groups of 10. So what we can do, the numbers that we're going to deal with, most of them we can count up in that number, so we can count in our fives. So we can say, all right, 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, rather than counting them one by one. I know we've discussed that with lots of different maths topics, haven't we, before, about efficient ways of doing things and how long things will take. So 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 equals 20. Okay, so that's the repeated addition. Now, the other way of thinking about this today is using the multiplication symbol. Okay, so again, I'll try and go fairly slow, baby steps, so you understand this. Okay, now when I've taught the multiplication symbol before, pop it in there, I've taught it as meaning groups of. Okay, so for instance, if we had this multiplication sum, say, there we go, we could say 6 multiplied by 2. Some people might know it as 6 times 2. Or what I've taught before is that this sign, the multiplication sign, means groups of. So 6 groups of 2. And that helps you just kind of understand what it means and what those numbers or those objects would look like if they were drawn out. Okay, so 6 groups of 2. All right, I see. So we've got 6 2s. So we're counting up on our 2s 6 times. Okay, and it can also help us to understand how many times we're going to add that number. Okay, so for instance, if we've got 6 2s, we can either think, right, well, we've got 6 and we're going to add it 2 times, so 6 add 6. Trying to bring it level for you. 6 add 6. Or, other way around, we could think of it, right, we've got 2s, and we're going to add them 6 times. 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, equals. Okay? So 6 groups of 2, or 2 groups of 6, okay, you get the same answer, no matter which way round you use those numbers, which is a really key thing to remember. And I know some of you touched on that in the last couple of days, actually. Or we can think about it as, right, how many times am I going to add that number over and over again? So if we've got 6 sixes, groups of 6, I'm going to add those 2 times. So 6 add 6. There's 2 6s there, look. Or if you look at it the other way, you think, right, I've got 2s, and we're going to add them 6 times. So 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. We've got 6 2s. So 6 2s or 2 6s. Okay? I hope that's helped you a little bit there. So now let's look at how we would do that then, how we'd use the multiplication symbol with our actual example here. So we've got, let's go and edit text. Go. So we've got groups of 5. Okay? So we could either say, right, we've got 5s. How many times are we adding those 5s over and over again? How many 5s have we got? Well, we know we had 4 groups of 5. We had 4 5s. So we could say 5 times 4. We've got 5s, we're going to add them together 4 times. Or, we can look at it the other way. We've got 4 groups of 5. And both of those will give us the same answer, 20. Now, if I was being really picky, we're just starting now, so I'm, trying to give you a good overview of what the times sign is about and what it means. If I was being really picky, the one that I would use for our example is the 4 times 5 one here. because as I say, we tend to think about it as how many groups we have and then what's in each group. So we have 4 groups of 5 equals 20. Okay, and that means we can count up in our 5s 4 times. Okay, 4 times 5, so we've got 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so that's the way we're going to think about it, that multiplication sign. So just think of it as groups of. If you're thinking, oh, it might be a bit tricky for me, think about drawing things out, and we're going to look at the task you're going to do with it. Drawing it out, something, groups of something. Okay, just like this kind of sentence here, it just comes directly from that we've done the last couple of days. So 4 groups of 5 can become 4 times 5. Okay, so the groups of bit is just replaced by the times sign or the multiplication sign. Same thing. Okay, so groups of is the same as the times sign. It means the same thing. Okay, so 4 groups of 5, same as 4 times 5, or 4 multiplied by 5. Okay, there we go. Now let's see if we can do this. It might not be for everybody, but I've got to try and challenge everybody in the class. Now see if you can keep up with this. So we're going to do the same kind of thing, but we've got our groups look ever so slightly different here. So the difference is that our objects are looking a little bit different. Okay, so we've got some money in each of our groups here. Now first, let's see how many groups we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 groups of. Now we need to see what's in each group. Now you might think, oh, it's 1 because there's 1 coin in each. But actually, if we look carefully at this coin, you will see that it is hopefully everybody said 10 pence coin. Yes, it's a 10 pence coin. So we're thinking about it as a 10 pence, meaning it's worth 10. Okay, it's worth 10 pence. So 6 groups of 10 is what we're going to think about it as. Okay. As I say, this won't be for everybody, but that's fine, don't worry. So 6 groups of 10, which means that we have 6 tens. We've got tens, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those tens. If we're doing our repeated addition, we're adding them all together, we've got 10. See if I can bring it down here for you so we can put it over the top and it matches up with the 10 pence pieces. Oh, my mistake. Apologies. There we go. So we've got 10. Add this other 10. Add another 10. Add another 10. Add another 10. Add another 10. And we all can count up in our tens, like I referred to before. We don't need to be going 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 8, so on and so on, and counting in ones, because we can all count in tens. So we know that there is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So 10, add 10, add 10, add 10, add 10, add 10 is 60, or 60p. Yeah, because we've got 10p's, haven't we? Not just 10 objects or animals. So 10 add 10 add 10 add 10 is 60. Now let's think about that then with our multiplication symbol. Just move that up there. And how this would look with our multiplication symbol, our times sign. So how many groups do we have? Well, we said we have 6 groups. So you've got 6 times, or multiplied by, or groups of, and then what's in each group? Well, we know that that's 10, isn't it, in each group, because it's a 10 pence piece. So there we go. We've got 6 times 10. 6 groups of 10. 6 multiplied by 10. Okay? And again, 6 times 10, that tells us that we've got tens, and we're going to count up in them in 6 times. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 6 groups of 10, which is 60. Okay? So again, we're just thinking about how many groups there are. 6. And then what's in each group? 10. and then we can count up in that number that's the value that represents what's in each group. So if it was 6 times 6 groups of 5, we count up in our 5s. If it was 6 groups of 2, we count up in our 2s. What we have is 6 groups of 10, so we can count up in our 10s. Okay? Now let's look at where you're going to show what you've learned, this knowledge in your activity. So, got a little question in the middle. Okay, I know we've done this kind of thing before. Oh, what's going on there? Let's see if we can go back. Bear with me. There we go. Sorry about that. So, we've got a question in the middle here, or a statement, 6 threes. So we're going to try and show this 6 threes in a few different ways, 4 different ways on the page, on the grid here. Okay, now it doesn't matter if you can't print this out. This is absolutely fine in showing, you know, in a list, working down your page, whatever piece of paper you've got, or anything like that. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as you're showing it in these 4 different ways. Okay, so 6 threes. First of all, we're going to draw it. So I'm going to get my pen that I've got on my computer here. So we're going to draw it. So we've got 6 groups of 3. Let's get the pen out. So we know we've got 6 groups. And it's 6 threes, 6 groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And they're all equal now. Okay, there we go. So we've done the draw bit already. 6 threes, 6 groups of 3. 6 groups, and there's 3 in each. Okay. Now, we've kind of done this bit because we've done the first bit now, so we're going to explain it with words. So it's basically what I was just saying there, the words that I was using. We have, there are 6 groups with 3 objects in each group. And with yours, I don't mind what you draw. It might be your groups and your objects can be anything really, as long as it's nice and clear. So it might be goals with footballs in. That's the sports fan in me. It might be could be anything. It could be bags with fruit in. It could be houses with people in, as long as it's clear. Okay, so it might be there are 6 houses with 3 people in each house. There are 6 goals with 3 footballs in each goal. There are 6 bags with 3 apples in each bag. Okay, that's completely up to you, as long as it's nice and clear and it shows that you're understanding what we're doing, the concept. Okay, so we've drawn it, 6 threes. We've said there are 6 groups with 3 objects in each group. Now we're going to do our addition sentence again, which you've practiced a little bit, and I say we're only doing baby steps. We're building on what we've already done. So 6 threes. So for our addition, we know we're adding what's in each group over and over again. And because the groups are equal, we know there's 3 in each group. So we've got 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, add 3. Go. And I'm just, even teachers double check to see if they've got the correct number of groups there, which I'd expect to see everybody else doing as well. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threes. 3, add 3, add 3, add 3. Threes isn't as easy as, or not easy, but threes tend to be a bit trickier to count in than 2s, 5s and 10s, but I know we've practiced it. I remember we did it the last week before Christmas with the Christmas tree activities. Let's give it a go. See if you can follow along with me. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We've got 18. And don't worry if you didn't manage to follow along there. Maybe took you a little bit longer to work out what each step would be. That's absolutely fine. It's counting in threes is one of the more challenging objectives for us in year 2, and that's something we'll be revisiting throughout the year, so don't worry. So there's our addition sentence. Done. Perfect. So we've drawn it, we've explained it with our words, we've put it in an addition sentence. Now we're going to do our multiplication number sentence using the multiplication sign. So again, we're thinking about how many groups and how many in each group. Give myself a bit of room there. Apologies. There we go. So how many groups are there? Well, we know there are 6 groups. We've got that, we've drawn it. 6, multiplication sign, times, how many in each group? 3. There are 6 groups of 3. 6 threes. 6 times 3. Okay? It's that simple. Okay? So we've got 6 times 3, 6 groups of 3. We've shown that by opening it up and adding all of those 3's together. 6 times 3 add 3 add 3 add 3 add 3 add 3 equals 18. Let's put the answer down there as well. We've explained it with our words. There are 6 groups with 3 objects in each group. And at the very start, we drew it to see what it actually looked like. So you've got a good understanding in 4 different ways of that simple number statement there. Okay? Right, I hope that was helpful, larks, and I look forward to seeing your completed tasks. If there are any questions for me, please feel free to send me a message. Always happy to help. But hopefully that was really helpful and you can all get on independently. Fingers crossed. Okay, right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.